Hey, evening, and Christmas was really good this year. And so this evening, just about second week of January, we got over the cold weather and I got over all my migraines, and I decided, hey, I think it's time to stay after and to upgrade some lights. And these are lights that I got off of Amazon for Christmas. I got some toys. You got to know that those are really good lights if they come in a fancy schmancy box and they come with their own instructions. But anyway, these are really cool. They got fans on the backside, which keeps them really cool. And these babies are supposed to be extremely bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I got right now, and then I'm going to install these, show you how to do that, and then I'm going to show you the after. Okay, as you can see, these are the bulbs that came with the headlight assemblies I got back in September, because the original equipment ones were so yellowed up. I tried polishing them a few times. I used a McGuire's kit, which worked pretty good, and they didn't do that good of a job. Over time, they just got more and more beige looking, and I was like, well, it's time to go ahead and upgrade. So what I did was, the turn signals are LEDs already, and those are Sylvania. Those work really good. The only problem I had was I had rapid flash with the turn signal, so I had to change the electronic flasher. And actually, I take that back. It did not have an electronic flasher. It had a relay. So I had to put an electronic relay in there to slow the flash down. And those are LED up there. I did those back in September. Those are really nice, the cab lights. And as you can see, they're yellow, kind of. They're not very bright at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade these. Okay, so here we are. We got the lights back on so we can see what in the world we're doing. Up top, there are two clips that pull up. So you push back and pull up. Takes a little bit of doing because these are old. You'll feel a click, and that pulls the rest of the way up. You push back and up. And then what happens is that releases this part of the headlight bucket, and you pull it out. Okay, and once you wiggle it and get it out, mine was a little bit difficult because these aftermarket headlights kind of hang up. You got to really play around with it to get them to come out, but just kept working it until it was able to pull it forward. And then all you do is you just unlock. Well, this is already broken off, as you can see. So we just very easily unplug that. Usually the harness plug has a tab on it that you would push up and then pull back with your thumb. And you just take this cheap headlight bulb that came with these headlights. You just pull that out. And that's all there is to that. And then we are ready to put our new ones in. Okay, there's a little bit of modification that you have to do with the setup, okay? The problem that you run into is, pull it out of the box, is you have this, right? And that end plugs in really good. Plugs into the factory end. And I'll explain later how to take care of the ballast issue, but it has to be in an area that's not adjacent to any plastic. It gets pretty hot. But this goes in here like so, and it does work really well, except for you have to have the factory retaining ring. See, this will go in like that, and it just kind of pops into place. If I can find the right notch. There it is. Well, the problem that you run into is you have the retaining ring. Okay, you use the factory retaining ring, but it doesn't go over the the plug, it doesn't go over the harness, and certainly doesn't go over the fan. No can do. So what you have to do is, and I had to read the instructions, oh my goodness, it's a bad day when you gotta read the instructions. But there is the O-ring that is on the bulb. Go over here, show you this one, because I already have it. See how the O-ring is? And it's covering up 2 screws. They're 2 tiny Phillips screws that you have to take out so that you can slide this plastic collar, this part right here, off, and then you can put the collar there. Well, there's another problem. You do that, you put this collar, factory collar, on first, you slide this down, and then you can't do anything with the screws. You can't reach them. So what I had to do was, back up a little bit, I had to cut a notch in the ring so that you can take your precision screwdriver, right there, thankfully I had that, and tighten the screws down and set this adapter piece in place. Then you need to flip the O-ring down so you cover up the screws. And then it'll be ready to install. But for the life of me, I could not figure that out. I had to actually break out the instructions and then make this modification, ground the plastic down with a grinder and notched it. And of course, you only need to put 1 notch. You don't need to weaken the ring any more than you have to. And of course, you can rotate it around like so. And then you will find the other hole right there. And it's hard for me to get focused, but yeah. Then you just drop the screw right in there. There's a little tiny, tiny, tiny screw right there. Tiny. You definitely want to make sure you have some of these really small screwdrivers. A regular screwdriver certainly won't cut it. Okay, I wrestled and got this thing back in. If anybody has worked on these headlight assemblies, you know that it's really difficult to get those things to line back up, the adjustment pins. And once you get the 1, 2, 3 adjustment pins, there's no upper one, but there's 3 of them, you just push these down and snap them into place. Those pain in the rear. Also, I ran into another problem where I have aftermarket headlight assemblies. These aren't factory. They come with their own retaining rings on the backside. And as a result of that, you have to ditch these. You can't use them. No good. So, love my notch job. But anyway, how I got around it was I went ahead and notched the aftermarket ring the same way I did the factory ring. And I'm getting ready to do this one. And once I get them in, I'm going to show you how they look as a result, and then I'm going to adjust them and we'll see what we have. Okay, I got both of them in. As you can see, those things, wow, they are bright. And also, it's not that yellowish color, it's more of a blue or a clear, but they are vastly brighter than what I took out of there. That's all there is to it. You do have to modify the rings so that if you're using aftermarket headlights, let me clean this up a little bit here for you. That's better. Yeah, if you're using aftermarket headlights and you got to use that ring, you have to put a notch in it. Or if you're using the factory rings, you have to put a notch in it. Not a really big one, just so you can get those screws out. So you can slide the collars off and reuse the rings that you have to use. Very good. I'm excited to get these things aimed and take down the road and see what to think. Thanks for watching.